Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to be taking you step by step on how I built a $5,000 AI voice agent in my very own bedroom. Now, the cool thing about this tutorial is I actually made an inbound and an outbound caller for this e-commerce company. So let me call the inbound caller right now.
Hi, Tommy. This is Emma with Tommy Thrift. How can I assist you today?
Hey Emma, I was just wondering what your guys' return policy is.
Great question, Tommy. Our return policy allows you to return items within 30 days of purchase, as long as they're unworn, unwashed, and their original.
And so you can see on that call, it actually immediately recognized my first name because I was already a customer in their database. Now, let's see how the outbound caller works. So I just left an abandoned cart on my Shopify store, and now I'm going to be showing you guys how after I run this function, the AI will automatically call me and know both the items I abandoned as well as my name. So I just ran the function real quick. You can see it's calling me.
This is Emma from Tommy Thrift. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
That's great to hear. I noticed you left a sweatshirt in your cart on our website. Did you run into any trouble while checking out, or is there something I can help you with?
Yeah, sorry. I just forgot to order it. I'll go do that right now.
No problem at all. It happens to the best of us. If you'd like, I can guide you through completing your order right now. Just let me know if you need any assistance.
No, I'm alright. I'll talk to you later. I look forward to getting my sweatshirt. So now let's get into actually building that. Now, in today's tutorial, I'm going to be going over a bunch of different prompts and functions and everything like that. If you'd like to follow along and copy me step by step, make sure to go to the top link in the bio of this video, which will be my free school community. And you can copy everything I built in this video, create it for your own, and sell it as your own. If you just join my community, come to this classroom tab, go under YouTube resources, it'll be the top one here. Obviously I can't make it now because the video's not made yet, but when you're watching this, you can just go here and you'll find everything. Now, to build the AI you just listened to, there's three main softwares we use, which is Retell AI for creating the AI, the voices, combining all of that, the phone numbers, everything. Make.com over here, which will be all the functions we run. And then lastly will be Shopify, will be what is triggering and sort of storing all the data. Most e-commerce stores are run on Shopify, a staggering amount of them. And so that's why I chose Shopify as sort of the platform to use to show an example in this case. So starting with this inbound caller, there are two main functions that it does. One happens before the call and one happens after the call. And that is before the call, it will look at the phone number that's calling and it'll search the Shopify database to say, hey, do we have any customers or accounts with this phone number? And if it does, then it will send over all that information to Retell and to the AI, and it can greet you like it saw how it greeted me, where it's like, hey Tommy, this is Emma, how can I help you? So that you sort of have a warm approach, and it already has some information about you, and generally makes the customer experience a lot better. The second function is after the call, where it sends all the information about the call, including some extra variables, like whether or not you need to follow up with this person, whether the AI actually did its job, the reason for the call, whether it's just a customer support question or they're asking for a return, as well as it would grab any order number. Now that order number I'll talk about a bit later, after I go over some other stuff first on why that would be important and what we can do with that. So let's dive into this sort of the start of building one of these. So if you've never built an AI voice agent before, I highly recommend you check some of my other videos. It goes over the basics, but this video will also not be too complicated. So you can finish this one, follow along, and you'll pick up a lot of things on the way. So looking here, sort of what you're looking at, this big block of text is the prompt. Think of like prompting ChatGPT. These are the instructions that the AI has. And so for my first message in Retell, I generally like to go with a dynamic beginning message, just because it keeps things fresh. If someone calls multiple times, the AI might say something different each time, just as a normal human would. But it generally sticks to the same guidelines. And if you are looking to build your own prompt, I actually have my own GPT prompt builder that is within my school community. You can check it out in that resources tab I mentioned. But what's important here is you say hi, and then you have this placeholder, caller first name. And just showing you in the prompt real quick where all this is stored is here in this variables tab. You can see it says caller name is first name, last name, and then I said where they're also located from, just as something interesting to add there. But assuming you have a lot more information about your customers, since I set up just a fake store, I don't have any actual order history or anything like that. That would be something I would include here, where you could say past orders, and then the variable would be whatever variable that is for past orders. And so the rest of this prompt is pretty generic. It's just saying, hey, you're a friendly and patient customer support rep. Your task is to just take questions and sort of help out the caller. Some guidelines of what they will do, some of the policies, stuff like that. And then just some example conversations based on just a general question, an order issue, any return requests, and any exchange requests. So what's actually happening before the call is all done within Make. And if you come over here to scenarios and ecom voice agents, sorry, I have a lot of stuff in here. But this inbound customer recognition. And this might look simple, and it is to an extent. It might also look complicated if it's something you've never seen before, and I wouldn't worry too much. In layman's terms, what's happening here is once a call is initiated, this webhook sort of sends out a beacon with the information it has, which really is only the phone number of who's calling. And this webhook is pasted here at the inbound call webhook URL is where this URL is pasted. Sorry for the cut there. I accidentally have my own phone number in here, so don't want to leak that. But what this queries is if the from number is true and in the database of Shopify, it'll grab all the data from that customer, and then in this final webhook, you'll see their first name, last name, from, stuff like that. If you click on here, you can simply just add another field. For example, order history again is a popular one. And you could add order history, name it, whatever you want, and then in these quotation marks, just put whatever their order history is, or whatever field in Shopify that would be. And so what this does is, so you have the phone number, you look for the phone number in Shopify, and then you send whatever information from that phone number back to Retell, all while the call is being dialed. And then what you have to do in Retell is what I just showed you with these variables, is where you add this little field where you'll notice this first name and last name, I have like the double curly brackets, and then this syntax is the exact same as in here. You'll notice that first underscore name, last underscore name, and from all match up with first underscore name, last underscore name, and from in here. And so what that allows you to do is input these dynamic variables into the prompt, which otherwise would be static. And sure, a static prompt is fine, and it can work in a lot of cases. But if you really want to make a top tier, multi-$1,000 agent that you can sell as your own, you'll need stuff like this. This is really important. This is what businesses look for. And this will set you apart from the rest of the AI agency competition, that's making generic chatbots built with ChatGPT and stuff like that, where it just makes them a prompt and they don't look at anything, they don't put any thought into it. And so that's sort of the bare bones of this prompt and sort of the neat thing of how it's able to interact with Shopify. Now, the second part of this inbound caller is what happens after the call. So you call it and it resolves whatever query you have, or you say you have an order that you need done. Then you would, what ideally for an e-commerce company, if you're thinking of it from their perspective, is okay, we just didn't have to pay a receptionist to do all this, but what happens after? What would the receptionist do after? Well, they'd submit the return request, they'd do this, they'd do that. And so how does all that happen? Because if you don't also automate that, or at least help out that human in the loop, as it's called, then the company's not going to work with you. And so and it's not beneficial for the company to pull the effort into installing one of these systems if it really doesn't save them that much time. And so if you come over, you can see this post-call dashboard. And all that happens here is we have another webhook, which is pasted right here, this agent level webhook URL. And this little filter that makes sure only the call analyzed information goes through. And so how you would have only the call analyzed information go through is this way. Because if you simply copy this function and it'll already have the filter, that doesn't mean it'll just work automatically. So what you want to do is you want to turn off the function so that you're able to manually run it. Unlink this real quick. And if I were to just start a quick call.
Hi, this is Emma with Tommy Thrifts. How can I assist you today?
Hi, Emma. I was looking to return a sweatshirt.
Of course, I'd be happy to help you with that. Can I please have...
And as you can see, after I made that quick call, all this information is now held up in the queue to go through the webhook. So what you want to do is you actually want the third sort of ping that sends this webhook. So think of when you call the AI, Retell is kind of sending out these little bits of information. And there's three main ones, and it's that the call started, the call's ended, and then it's the call analyzed, which is what we want, all the like meaty information of what actually happened. And so you'll see if we run this once, you'll see the call started. If you run it again, you'll see the call ended. Then what you want to do here is click on this, click redetermine data structure. And now you only have to do this once when you first set up the function. And after you've run that, click run once again, use existing data. You'll see you'll get the call analyzed. You just connect this once again. And over here is simply just a Google Sheet that looks like this. And again, I'll have all this linked in my school community so you can copy it. And in this Google Sheet, what we have done is mapped a bunch of data from all these calls transcripts, and so that it gets inputted automatically at the end of every call to this Google Sheet, so that your client doesn't always have to go to Retell to see all their information. They can simply have that on a Google Sheet. And the nice thing about this is that you can also perform actions off of the Google Sheet after. But I'll mention that in a second. And so what you'll see here is the transcript, call recording, summary, the caller sentiment, if the call is successful, if there's any need for follow-up, if there's a reason for the call, and then the order number. And so you can see all that here, the quick transcript if you wanted to look at it, the recording if you needed to listen to it, the summary, the caller sentiment, if the call is successful or not, if the user needs follow-up, or if the issue was resolved, and these are just a Boolean true false. And so false actually means that they do need follow-up, like the issue was not resolved, and then their reason for calling. And if you go here into Retell and look at post-call analysis, you can see where I made these custom fields, and then order number I didn't provide it, so you won't see that here. But if you go over to these custom fields, you can actually check out, hey, follow up. So was the issue the caller was inquiring about resolved? And so if it's false, that issue was not resolved. And you can sort this, sort the column, and you can sort by false, or you can just sort by whatever you want in any column. You can sort these A to Z, and you can see sort of a list of all the different reasons for calling. You can make a graph in here with Google Sheets, seeing a bunch of different data. And so these are just important data points that a company might want to see at a glance, where if you're a receptionist and you're no longer taking calls, but you still want to keep a pulse on the company, or say you're an owner, you're a drop shipper, and you run all this by yourself and you're not able to have a customer support, or you were the customer support previously, and you want to keep a sort of pulse on the business, and you want to see, hey, who do I have to follow up with? Who do I have to give more customer support? What are people calling about? There's a lot of return requests. Is something wrong? There's a lot of order issues. Is that Shopify or is that me? And all this data is extremely important, and it happens automatically after the call by using this post-call analysis and this webhook. And now the order number, I didn't actually create any functions with this in here because this is just a fake Shopify store where there aren't any actual orders. However, if there were actual orders and you could have callers to provide real order numbers, what you could do is store that, and based on, hey, if I recognize that there's a return request and they gave me an order number, what I could do in Make is I can make another Shopify module or even an email module where I get that customer information or the order information based on that order number, and I email or send a Shopify message, whatever. I don't think Shopify messages are a thing. I send a message to who requested a return, and I can send a link in that email for how to return. That's actually a system I built for an e-commerce company that made me a lot of money. I made thousands of dollars by building that. And it saved them tens of thousands of dollars in staff hours and time. And so by getting this order number, what I'm just trying to show you guys is that what I'm building here on this video is not the end-all be-all of what you can build with these. These tools are really limitless, and I want to try and expand your mind where if you're making a demo for a client, or if you've signed a client and you really want to deliver a top-notch service, these are the sort of things you can implement here. And so that's pretty much it for this inbound caller. If you're curious about anything else, I use the voice Simo. I really like it. I think it's a good female voice. I generally think the female voices sound better, but maybe I'm just biased. As a guy, I'd rather listen to a girl than a dude talk to me in my ear all day while I'm testing this out. But let's check out the outbound caller, because I think that's the coolest part of this video. So now let's take a look at this abandoned cart outbound caller. Now, the use case for this is that if in Shopify, it lets you know if someone's abandoned their cart. Or if you don't know what that is, it's basically you go to check out to something, you add it to your cart. So you're buying a sweatshirt, you add the sweatshirt to your cart, and then you get distracted, or for whatever reason, you close your computer and never finish that sale or follow through. Now, Shopify tracks this, and this is actually a really common occurrence and a very big sort of roadblock for e-commerce companies when they're trying to grow and get more sales. And so what this outbound caller does is it senses when that abandoned cart happens in Shopify, and then it'll automatically call the person who abandoned their cart and try and persuade them or ask them sort of what went wrong, and then persuade them to actually follow through with the sale. And so already you can see the massive value in this, and this is actually a solution that is proven and already exists. There are companies that pretty much every e-commerce company either does this or is going to do this soon or trying to do this, where they send out automatic email follow-up if they notice you abandon your checkout, you probably receive some of this yourself. And you can probably go to any company right now, add something in your cart, and sort of see how that works. Um, and so this is such a great solution for us AI agency owners because it already exists and is proven to be something that works. But now we're making it a lot more valuable because a phone call just naturally converts a lot better than email. For example, think of yourself as a customer and you're on my little fake online store website, Tommy Thrifts. And you go in, you're like, shop now. Cool. I want a comfy shirt. Add it to my cart. Look at my cart. So now I have a comfy shirt and a basic hoodie. And then, oh no, I got distracted. I have to go over here. And I forgot I'm recording a video. And now what will happen is after 10 minutes, Shopify sort of identifies that as an abandoned cart. And then the first thing that happens for this sort of agent, because there's three main parts of it. Something happens before the call, the actual call, and then after the call. And so what you're seeing here is what's actually triggering the call. And this is this function right here, where if I were to trigger this for every 15 minutes, this scenario will run. It will check for any abandoned checkouts, and then it will trigger this HTTP request or this API call to Retell to create a phone call. Now, if you want to copy this, you can just download the blueprint from my school community, and all you have to do is enter your API key and your Retell phone number, and that's all you have to do. It's already set up for you. And now it will automatically trigger those calls based on this Shopify watch abandoned checkouts. Now, if you're setting this up for a company that generally has a lot of abandoned checkouts, you can up this limit. So, for example, sort of the timing of all this is for a checkout to be considered abandoned in Shopify, I believe it has to be 10 minutes. So you just saw me abandon my cart. In 10 minutes, Shopify will actually count that as an abandoned checkout. And so if this function runs every 15 minutes and you do the math, the worst case scenario is 25 minutes, 10 plus 15, 25 minutes after someone abandons their cart. At the very longest, they will receive a phone call asking them why they abandoned their cart and trying to persuade them to close it. And so if you look here at the prompt, that's the first part, is actually initiating the call. The second part is the call itself. And if you look at this prompt, it's actually pretty basic, pretty similar to the inbound caller, except the AI is actually leading the conversation. You'll see it sort of has 4 steps. You start the call, you just talk about the abandoned cart, and we have these specific variables, their name and the items that are abandoned, because we're able to grab those from Shopify in here, and it'll actually have all that information. And so you'll have all that, and then ask if they had any issues or what was sort of the reasoning behind them not completing their order, and then offer to guide them through completing their order. Now, some other things I would recommend adding to this prompt if the company you're building this for or your own company is able to offer it, is this would be a great place to offer promotions where you call and you say, hey, I saw you abandon your cart. We actually have a 15% off promotion right now, or a buy one get one promotion right now. If you just use the code Tommy Thrifts, you can get that promotion, and you're able actually to sort of use a lead magnet or incentivize the potential customer more using this AI agent. And then just going further down this prompt, these variables again are very important. So you can say, hey Tommy, I saw you left that comfy shirt in your abandoned checkout. And then we just have the examples. There's really just 3 scenarios of why someone would abandon their cart. Generally, sort of depends on the company. But scenario 1 is I just forgot, like I just did. I was busy recording a video, and so I didn't end up buying that shirt. Scenario 2 is they had an issue checking out for whatever reason. And then scenario 3 is that they were just hesitant about completing the order. They had some sort of block that kept them from completing the sale. And so what we're actually able to do based on that information is make this extra post-call analysis field, which is the third part of this agent, is what happens after the call. And this will look familiar to the inbound agent, where we have this where it's like why the cart was actually abandoned. And once again, I'll have a Google Doc where you can copy all of this and implement it into your own Retell account. And it'll say, hey, this is the issue, and I sort of give a quick description of what each of these choices are. And so that way you're able to organize in your Google Sheet the reason for abandoning the cart. Now the way this Google Sheet gets populated is if you go over here, back out of this, and go to the outbound post call dashboard. This is pretty much the same exact function as the inbound, except it's on a different sheet down here, and it's mapped differently. As you can see, instead of having those 3 extra fields, we just have the reason for abandoning cart as the extra field here, and that way you can make a graph or sort of sort by the different reasons for abandoning cart. You know, if there's an abnormal amount of people that are hesitant, maybe your prices are just too high, and so you can gather a lot of data from this, and this is incredibly valuable. And so that's pretty much it for this outbound caller. So guys, thank you so much for watching that video. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comments below, and also make sure to join my school community. I host weekly Q&A calls, as well as all my other YouTube resources are in there, and I actually respond to every post as of now. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to join my school community for all the resources. I also host weekly Q&A calls. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them down in the comments or post them in the school community. I always make sure to respond. I'll see you guys in the next video.